I'm Grace Joseph, and you're onto the Gracia Memoir session. Can the loss of the weekly's morning star act as a strong support to price? That's a question I asked myself during the course of the week as Bitcoin made another nosedive. And good enough, this support held. A morning star is a triple candle pattern that takes time to form, and as such, it has greater predictive power than a single or double candlestick. The strength of the weekly's morning star radiated into intraday levels, given that price was unable to trade below this formation. I'm Grace Joseph, and this is the Gracia Memoir session. A morning star often acts as support or confirms previous support. This means the middle candle of the star has created the lowest low and further price action could trade above it. Another way to look at it is that we've gotten a hammer at that zone since a candle mat of a morning star yields a hammer. A hammer, especially one with a long lower shadow, is a strong reversal signal, even though our current hammer isn't very bullish given its large body. Now, irrespective of the retrace we've gotten so far, there's a high chance for that hammer to have created support which the next candlestick might respect. If that's the case, we would have successfully printed a double bottom on the weekly. A double bottom translates into same lows, which alters the lower low structure price has been printing since November 2021. The next course of action would be for a higher high to be generated, and then will I confidently say the trend has changed. If we do get a higher high, that would be a change in polarity since previous resistance is now acting as support. And remember, in February 2nd week's memoir session, I mentioned that a trend change does not mean we will suddenly have an uptrend. A change in trend means it will no longer be a downtrend, hence it could be a sideways trend that will later lead into an uptrend or continued downtrend. Waiting for a higher high formation even after getting same lows is needful since the monthly chart still has elements of bearishness to it. For instance, we have less than a 25% pullback into the monthly candle, which tells of the bear strength. Despite this, a salting doji is about to be formed on the monthly, and it's a candlestick pattern that hints bears need to take profit and wait for the next price action. The beauty about this doji is that when paired with next month's candle, we will get a confirmation on the monthly about where price is headed. That's because a bearish candle after this doji tells us the market has decided to continue its decline, while a bullish candle after the doji signals a move to higher price levels. So, will the next monthly candle complete the formation of a morning doji star? Let's check the price action from the daily angle. After price retraced back into channel upon the trend line's retest, it temporarily found support at 34K, which is close to the channel's midpoint. It was interesting to see price reject lower prices by the day's end and close above the mid-channel. The decline, on the other hand, could largely be attributed to both technical and fundamental factors. From the technical perspective, there was a need for price to retest and hold previous support as confirmation that we won't tank further on the short-term basis. The fundamental aspects can be traced to unpleasant news in the early hours of February 24th that Russia has sent several missiles and military barrages to Ukraine. While many may argue that the potential start of the biggest war in Europe since 1945 is the reason behind the heavy price plunge, I would say it's because technicals and fundamentals aligned at the same time. The chart before the Russian invasion indicated that there could be a further dip, especially with untested previous lows, and as such, the news only ignited the flame and made things happen faster. Despite the rising tension between nations and the current state of the market, I'm still of the opinion that BTC has a fair chance of revisiting the 50K zone by March this year. Attempts are being made by bulls to once again push price above the weekly and monthly resistance of 39.8k and 40.3k respectively. It's expected that the last phase of the dip would seem like the most intense, but if bulls do overcome it, then a lot of good can be expected. Keep in mind that this could still be a bear market, and any surge from here might only be a correction before the prevailing trend takes over. That will be all for now until next week on another session on Gracia's memoir. I'm Grace Joseph, and you're onto the Gracia memoir session.